What if you lived in a world where cancer or any other disease was no longer a threat to you? What if you never had to experience the horror of receiving a doctor's chilling diagnosis of a terrible disease, or watch helplessly as someone you care about suffers from cancer or some other life-threatening disease, with you not being able to do anything about it? What would you be willing to give to ensure that you and your loved ones would never need to suffer or die from so-called incurable diseases that are actually curable? Imagine never having to worry about getting the flu again, or suffering from migraine headaches, gum disease, sinusitis, anemia, lupus, bronchitis, and any other disease for that matter. In the next few minutes, as you watch this video in its entirety, you will learn about a safe, inexpensive, and powerful 1-minute therapy that is being suppressed in the United States, while more than 15,000 European doctors, naturopaths, and homeopaths are using it to successfully treat practically every known disease. You'll discover how this remarkable, scientifically proven natural therapy creates an environment within the body where disease cannot thrive. This therapy does not cure disease per se, but enables the body to cure itself of practically any disease. You'll also learn why over 6,100 articles in European scientific literature have attested to the effectiveness of this simple therapy. And it costs only 1.5 cents a day to self-administer at home. If you or someone you care about suffers from cancer or any disease, this will be the most important video you'll ever watch. You'll discover why information about this groundbreaking therapy has been deliberately kept secret from the American public, and why you must grab the earliest opportunity to learn about this 1-minute therapy before this information is banned by enterprises, cartels, and agencies whose financial interests are threatened by it. Let's begin. Thousands of physicians, researchers, and health practitioners who administer this simple therapy are calling it the world's greatest healing miracle of all time. Here's why. 2-time Nobel Prize-winning Dr. Otto Warburg shocked the world when he revealed that most disease is caused by insufficient oxygen levels in the body. In fact, his studies showed that if you deprive a cell 35% of its required levels of oxygen for 48 hours, the cell is likely to become cancerous. That's why cancer is so widespread in our modern society, because most people suffer from oxygen deprivation. What most people don't know is that lack of oxygen is not only the underlying cause of cancer, but is also the cause of most diseases, from AIDS to yeast infections. Current medical research is focused on the wrong causes of disease. Some claim that viruses, microbes, germs, or harmful bacteria are the cause of cancer and other diseases. Others say it's the toxins in the food we eat, the air we breathe, and the substances we consume. And still others say it's our genes or stress that causes us to acquire disease. While all of these factors do characterize most diseases, or might be precursors or byproducts of disease, they do not cause disease. Rather, they bring about oxygen deficiency that, in turn, causes disease. Clearly, the primary physical cause of all diseases is linked in one way or another to oxygen deficiency, and when the human body is supplied with abundant amounts of oxygen, all cancer cells, viruses, harmful bacteria, toxins, pathogens, and disease microorganisms are killed because they cannot survive in a high oxygen environment. Since an oxygen-rich body is uninhabitable by disease, then the solution for eradicating disease seems simple enough, doesn't it? Just supply the body with an abundant supply of oxygen, right? Well, no, not exactly. You see, oxygen cannot cure diseases unless it's delivered to the cells and tissues of the body. Most humans are not able to get proper amounts of oxygen in their cells and tissues, due partly to poor air quality, poor breathing habits, and oxygen-depleting activities. More importantly, the human body is not always able to deliver oxygen to the cells and tissues. In order for oxygen to eradicate disease, it must be delivered not just to the lungs, and not just to the bloodstream, but to the cells and tissues of the body. That's why other oxygen-based therapies are not always effective in treating disease. While they may supply the body with oxygen, they don't always have an efficient mechanism for breaking the oxygen free from the hemoglobin molecule, which means the oxygen is not delivered to the cells and tissues. Such oxygen-based therapies, therefore, are seldom effective in preventing and curing disease. The simple therapy you're about to learn is the only one that uses a natural oxygenating substance which stimulates the movement of oxygen atoms from the bloodstream to the cells to a dramatically greater degree than is usually reached by other means. It does this by increasing oxygen and hemoglobin dissociation, thereby maximizing the delivery of oxygen from the blood to the cells. This is according to a prominent doctor best known for treating AIDS patients with oxygen therapy. Who am I? And how did I stumble upon the 1-minute cure for healing virtually all diseases? I'm Madison Cavanaugh, and I've been an avid researcher of natural and holistic health alternatives for the last 30 years, as well as a contributing editor of natural health magazines and publications. In 1999, my father died of colon cancer after a long, hard battle that was painful for him to bear, and even more painful for us, his family, to witness. My grandmother also died of brain cancer not long before that. We saw her writhe in agony during the last few months of her life, the doctors unable to do anything, even just to ease her pain. Over the last 10 years, 2 aunts, an uncle, 3 cousins, as well as a close friend of mine, have all died of cancer. My sister was stricken with cervical cancer a few years ago, and my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2006. Both of them are presently in remission because their cancers were surgically removed. When it dawned on me that cancer had struck 3 members of my immediate family, it was a terrifying realization. It was then that I began to search desperately for a cancer cure amidst the overwhelming array of so-called miracle cures. Little did I know that I was about to stumble upon something much more than I could have ever expected. One day I was reading about oxygen therapy when I came across something entirely by accident, something that was positively astounding. When I first heard about this type of oxygen therapy involving a little-known oxygenating substance, I was awestruck by the compelling reports that it had cured almost every disease known to man, including the big 3, AIDS, cancer, and heart disease. I was extremely skeptical at first, because I never believed that there's such a thing as a cure-all or a panacea. But the more I expanded my research into this natural oxygenating substance, the more I was dumbfounded by the mountains of evidence showing that this therapy has been used in various parts of the world by thousands of health practitioners to heal cancer and every conceivable disease. The best part is that the natural substance is dirt cheap. It costs just 1.5 cents a day to administer at home. I later realized that this 1-minute cure is the only healing therapy that eliminates the real cause of disease. That's why it has such a far-reaching and broad-spectrum effectiveness in curing all diseases. I decided to test the 1-minute therapy on myself and was amazed that within 2 weeks it eradicated a chronic throat inflammation I'd had for 6 months, which I feared might one day become cancer. My husband used the therapy too, with spectacular results. His lifelong lymphatic condition, characterized by excessive mucus discharge and breathing difficulties, was completely healed in a matter of days. Colds and flu became non-existent in our household, and my energy levels increased so significantly that I was able to easily work 12 to 14-hour days whenever I had to, with lots of energy to spare. It occurred to me that this may be the closest thing to a panacea that I've ever encountered. I wondered why I hadn't heard about this therapy before. I soon found out it was because it's a hidden secret the pharmaceutical and medical industries don't want us to know. In 1986 and 1987, 2 doctors from Stuttgart and Munich, Germany, published case histories of dozens of late-stage AIDS patients whom they had cured with a simple therapy involving oxygenation of the body. Later, a 1-minute self-administered version of the therapy began to be prescribed by thousands of European doctors, naturopaths, and homeopaths from Germany, Italy, Austria, and Russia, all the way to Cuba and Mexico. They've used it to cure practically every known disease. Because this is the simplest, most effective, and most inexpensive therapy for healing virtually all diseases, Big Pharma and the medical industry don't want you to know about it. Soon thereafter, I became convinced that it would be a disservice to humanity to keep this vital information available only to the limited number of people who stumbled upon it by accident, like I did. That's why I sat down and wrote the book titled The 1-Minute Cure: The Secret to Healing Virtually All Diseases. But I have to warn you, the self-administered therapy which is detailed in the book represents the biggest threat to the trillion-dollar earnings of the pharmaceutical and medical industries. That's why you must learn the 1-minute therapy as soon as possible, before Big Pharma finds out and forces this book out of circulation. Quite frankly, the simple at-home therapy detailed in the 1-Minute Cure could potentially make most drugs and medical treatments unnecessary. And the results speak for themselves. There is a wide array of diseases that have responded to or been reversed by the natural therapy described in the book. And best of all, when used properly, there are no known risks. There is solid science behind the effectiveness of this therapy. But don't take my word for it. You must own a copy of the 1-Minute Cure today and prove its merits to yourself with absolutely no risk. Preview the 1-Minute Cure for 30 days. If the information in it isn't the most astounding health information you've ever encountered, or if you're not satisfied with your purchase for any reason, you can request a refund within 30 days of your purchase, and you'll receive it cheerfully, no questions asked. For less than the price of a single flu shot at a doctor's office, you and your family could be protected from virtually all diseases. When you purchase the book this week only, you will also receive a bonus report titled How to Stop a Heart Attack in 30 Seconds. This report contains the secret to stopping a heart attack even when it is already in progress, and prevent you and your family from experiencing one in the first place. Click on this risk-free button to get the 1-Minute Cure while you still can. Give a copy to everyone you care about, to someone who's presently battling disease, and to those who don't have health insurance. There isn't a person on earth who cannot benefit from this information. You will make a tremendous difference in someone's life by giving them this book, or you might even save their life. I wish you a life filled with vibrant health and freedom from disease.